have made it back home, and I'm gonna get ready and I'm gonna spray the rest of these. But the one thing that I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna pull this sprayer down. This is the sprayer that I've had for, oh gosh, a good 25 years, I think. So we'll see how that's gonna work on this. But I did go and I had to buy a new piece of canvas because the canvas drop cloth that I had before, I used it underneath the boat when we were doing epoxy, and I folded it in half. Well, the epoxy dropped on it. Kind of basically fused all that together, so that wasn't worth anything. But hey, I'm getting professional right here. Look at that. I went and got this kind of bucket tote. I went and bought some additional Harbor Freight tools to put in there. So now I'm gonna have just, now 3 sets of tools. One in here, one out in the barn, and then one that I could just, pick up and put in the car to take over when I'm doing the condo rental. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna set these up so that we can take the boards over, and I'm gonna spray this next bunch of polyurethane on there. Now that we've got these laid out, I was trying to just figure out how best to shoot these, because I may put some more wood underneath, because I have to get up underneath those. And so, like I did with this one here, I at least got up underneath that one. So I think if I did that on that second tier, gosh, if I could find some more cans. I know what I'll do. I'll take some small cans. I've got some small cans under here. I'll lift that up with the small cans, and then I'll be able to spray under there a little easier. So one of the things I did already find is that there was a crimp in the hose, which, you really can't say much because I haven't used it for such a long time. So it's a little crusty, but it's gonna do what we need it to do. It's not pretty on the outside, but gosh, for as much as I've used this thing, it's been great. So what I've done is I've taken and stirred my polyurethane, and because it's such a liquid, it doesn't need any thinning, so I'm gonna just pour this directly in. I'm gonna pour about half of it in there. And I don't know if it'll spray that much. It's possible that it'll heat that up that quick. But I'm gonna go ahead and just put this on the gun. We'll do a few tests. I do have a test board here that I kept playing around with. Although it's still slimy. So I've not continued to wipe that off. Boy, it's nasty. That's that stuff, it's real nasty stuff, that stain. So what I'll do is I'll just use one of these pieces just to coat that and see, and let's see what we can get. take any time to do, although, you know, when you look at it, actually it's starting to lay down really good. So it's laying down pebbly, but the more time that is there, it's flattening out. A lot of material on there. So we'll actually let that dry and see how that works. But boy, it didn't take any time to do. I'm wondering if I should go out and get a foam brush and run a foam brush across it, kind of level it out. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out and grab some foam brushes and come right back in. Definitely that was the right thing to do, to go back through and spray those, or not spray them, but lay it down a little bit, because that did definitely smooth that out quite a bit. What I'm going to do is, as that is drying, I'm going to clean out this head on this, pour the material back in there, because it'll be probably a few hours before we come back in and spray the last coat. I do need to read to see if I need to sand it one more time. I don't believe that I do. Maybe I do, but it's already starting to dry really nice. It is a satin finish, but it's starting to lay down really well. So we'll clean up our tools, and we'll come back out when we're ready to finish the last coat. Just taking a walk around on this. As you can see, that stuff is laying down really nice. It's drying really well. There's some areas that are still wet, as you can kind of see there. I really don't think that we're going to have to do any sanding. I will read the directions to see if I do need to do something really high, you know, like a high grit, but I like what's coming out. I really like the satin finish. I was thinking that I really wanted something gloss, but nah, I just think the satin is going to wear better. There's a little bit of a haze on these, but that's just because of the drying. But I'm also seeing that, you know, before where we saw a little bit of the grain, now that grain is going away. I mean the indentations in the grain. And I'm sure we'll get that a little bit better on the next spray. But we're going to let this dry. I think it's probably dried now. Oh, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes. We're going to give it a couple hours, probably later on this afternoon, and we'll take and spray that last coat. And I do think what I'm going to do is spray. It may be a pretty heavy spray, because I did notice that it was a little light on some areas. But using the brush helped a lot. And that's what I'll end up doing. I'll do the same thing. We'll spray it and then we'll brush it, because even with the spraying took about 6 minutes, the brush didn't take much longer. So we'll go ahead and kind of hold for now and be back out as soon as we're ready to take that next spray. Well, we've got a couple hours under our belt right now, and we're just going to take a quick look at this. Oh, wow. It is nice. Finish is good, looks solid. Look at these. I am not a little interesting. I don't actually know what that was. It just looks good, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and spray this last coat on here. And I think I'm going to go a little heavy, and then once we get it finished, I'm going to go over it with a sponge. We'll smooth that out and we'll be all set. So let's go ahead and get started. So there's the last coat. It really looks good. Really happy. That one there's a little foggy, but it'll get clear. Stuff is already drying. It's going to dry down to a really nice satin finish. And that'll be it. So I'm going to take and clean up the nozzle here, which it's just soap and water. It's not that big a deal, and we'll let this stuff dry up. But that should be it for today. We will catch you a little later. Make sure you subscribe, hit that thumbs up if you like the content, and make sure to turn on your post notifications to get all the condo renovations. Thanks for watching.